The Knytt series, created originally by indie developer Nicklas Nygren, and now, together with the developers of Green Hill and published by Ripstone, they come with the latest installment, called Knytt Underground. This 2D platformer supposedly contains 1800 rooms to explore, but the question here of course is it worth playing? In a world where humans have disappeared, possibly by the or an apocalypse, life, as you'll get to know it, lives underground. In these various caverns live various creatures, and you are one such creature. A mute sprite lady by the name of Me Sprocket. And together with two fairies that do all your talking, you are sent on a journey to ring the 6 bells of fate, which, if not rung, will annihilate all life and destroy the entire world. Or it may just be utter nonsense. As the surface world is uninhabitable, you'll explore a vast underground network that is predominantly colored black on the foreground, while the background makes up of all kinds of silly, yet amazing decals, and can be anything from huge pieces of fruit to forests and sinister looking machinery. The art style is quite serene initially, with beautiful forests near the surface, but reveals glimpses of doom and gloom as you travel further and further underground. It makes for a pleasant and interesting looking game, and the art style is one of the main aspects that will continuously tempt you to play more and explore more and more. Most of the time you'll hear nothing but the sound of your own footsteps, and the actual sound assets are solid. At times some tranquil music kicks in, and it is quite a pleasure to listen to, but in general I did feel that the game could use with a bit more of a soundtrack to back up the atmosphere. As it stands it works, but doesn't hugely stand out in a positive way. The story itself is probably what I'd consider the biggest negative of the game. It's sort of there, but most of the time it is far too cryptic and shallow to really intrigue you in any way. There is no voice acting to grab you in either, so all the story is thrown at you in a written format. But the actual dialogue itself can be quite amusing, with subtle and sometimes less subtle references, and otherwise just goofy conversations that do make you feel as if there is a curious and interesting world in the background. Just that the story itself never really fleshes this out well. No, the story isn't likely the reason anyone would go through the game, although it does somewhat guide you by providing you small quests with bits of story, although again these feel largely forgettable. But the art style does a good job at keeping you engaged, but in a platformer the gameplay is of course crucial. The game itself is separated into 3 chapters. The first 2 can be a bit of a drag and aren't hugely interesting, but it makes sense when you consider that these serve mainly as the tutorial for the game, and it does this in a very smooth and organic nature, making it an easy game to get into. In chapter 1 you familiarize yourself with the main controls of Me, who seems to be an absolute champion when it comes to climbing everything, and I mean everything. The keyboard, which is the only piece of equipment you'll be needing, works well, and controlling Me is quick and precise, which is the exact opposite of what you'll be getting in chapter 2, as they introduce the second character of sorts. In chapter 2 you'll play as a tiny rubber bouncing ball who controls just as that, a rubber bouncing ball. Shocking, I know, it is quite tough and frankly annoying most of the time to control him around, but this isn't a big deal once you get to chapter 3. Chapter 3 is essentially where you'll have to put your game face on, and after a freak accident not too different from the movie The Fly, you'll be merged into one character, and have the option of transforming yourself as you please. This is really where the game starts to shine, and allows for quite a huge variety of platforming puzzles, ranging from your more standard jumping and bouncing, where you'll need to use both forms in a timely fashion, or tricking and manipulating your robotic foes in one way or the other. But also various power manipulations allowing you to travel in a less than normal manner across dangerous locations. It does a good job at keeping a nice variety of challenges, and no room you get into is the same. With no clues how to solve them, it is up to you to find out how to get to the other end. In addition, the map is quite large, and once more it is your choice where you want to go first, giving you a good sense of freedom. on occasion the art style is a little deceiving and certain paths are hidden behind areas that look as if they are blocked. This can, on occasion, be a bother, but in general it seems to be very deliberate, as quite a number of secrets are hidden in such a way, and there tends to be a few clues such as water droplets to give them away. Not to mention, if you do fail a challenge, you aren't punished heavily and respawn in the same room where you failed. Because of this, it has a nice trial and error scenario that can certainly have its tougher, frustrating moments at times, but largely in a good way. As I said, the gameplay is absolutely solid, but it does make me wish they had put in just a little bit more. Some small upgradable power-ups or skills of the sort, or just a bit more enemy variety. But again, there's plenty of room and content to go around, and the challenges that are in place do feel nicely varied. Knytt Underground is a solid platformer that does what it does well. The gameplay feels fluid and quick, with enough challenges to go around and plenty of areas to explore. The art style looks excellent, and Knytt Underground has both great relaxing and tougher moments. There isn't all that much going on with the story, and that is likely the biggest downside of the entire package. But all in all, Knytt Underground is a lovely 2D platformer worthy of your time.